So this is our Fantastic Four. Miles Teller as Reed Richards, who is elastic. Kate Mara as Sue Storm, who can fade from sight. I don't care if Michael B. Jordan is black playing the Human Torch. And Jamie Bell's Ben Grimm, the Thing, needs to put on some pants. The Fantastic Four, 2015, directed by Josh Trank, the director of Chronicle. This is the fourth attempt to bring the Fantastic Four to the big screen. The first time was back in the 90s by Roger Corman. Terrible, cheesy film. Then you had two movies by Tim Story in 2005 and 2007, both terrible movies. And then there's this abomination, directed by Josh Trank. This is based on the first dysfunctional family from Marvel Comics, the Fantastic Four, the first superhero team that Marvel ever created. They created this team before they created the Avengers. This is a cup I got from the movie theater to advertise the Fantastic Four. This is what I think of this movie. Yeah, it's garbage. It is horrible. But let's get into the plot of this movie. The plot of this movie is not based on the original Fantastic Four comics. That's not the problem. This is based on the Ultimate Fantastic Four comics. So it has an entirely different origin. The Fantastic Four are actually younger than we usually are used to, which is weird. They're written to be, I guess, like 18, even though Miles Teller is in his late 20s and Jamie Bell's in his late 20s. Sue Storm, played by Kate Mara. Kate Mara, she's in her early 30s. And Michael B. Jordan is in his late 20s, who plays Johnny Storm. So it would kind of make more sense to put these four in college and then joining up with the Baxter Foundation rather than meeting together right as Reed is just becoming a senior in high school. It's kind of dumb, but whatever. But anyway, that's not the problem with this movie. The cast is a great cast. I love this cast. Reed Richards is a prodigy in this movie. He is a genius right from a child to when he grows up. He's working on interdimensional travel, teleportation device that can transport matter from one place to another. But he doesn't know where it transports matter to in between. As a child, he's working on this device with his best friend, Ben Grimm, played by Jamie Bell. And they're working on it in Reed's garage. So once Reed is older and he's 18 years old at a science fair, him and Ben Grimm, they display their device to their science teacher, who's still the same science teacher as the one they had when they were children. The science teacher sees the device and disqualifies it. He sees it as a Siegfried and Roy parlor trick, pretty much. But Franklin Storm, who runs the Baxter Foundation, this big-time scientist, also sees the machine working at the same time with his adopted daughter, Sue, played by Kate Mara. They've been working on interdimensional travel as well, but the theories they've been getting from Victor Von Doom have been failures. But they see that Reed has cracked interdimensional travel, so they want him to help build the machine and work with Victor Von Doom, since he has some expertise in it, a scientist from, this is a fictional country, Latveria. And Michael B. Jordan's character, Johnny Storm, is forced to work on the project as well because he's caught doing some street racing. So these four are working on the teleportation device. They prove to this NASA scientist, played by Tim Blake Nelson, that it works. Tim Blake Nelson is pleased. He's ready to bring NASA involved and have NASA astronauts use the device to transport to what is called Planet Zero to study what they found and get some evidence and everything, like the dust from the negative zone, which is what it is called in the comic books. And I don't know why they didn't bother to call it the negative zone in this movie. They could have found some reason to call it the negative zone. They didn't have to go with Planet Zero. That's so stupid. I mean, if you have the rights to the Fantastic Four, Fox, you use them to the full extent. But they don't even use it to the full extent in this movie. So the four go into the negative zone on their own because they don't want the NASA to take credit for it. Reed, Johnny Storm, Victor Von Doom, and Reed gets his best friend Ben Grimm to come along as well because he wouldn't have gotten this far without Ben's help. So the four of them are going into the negative zone in spacesuits. Something goes horribly wrong and they are trying to get out before whatever goes wrong. This energy blast that is coming out of the negative zone kills them. But the energy blast catches Victor Von Doom and traps him in the negative zone. So only Ben, Reed, and Johnny get out. While on the other side, back on Earth, Sue is trying to get them out using her computer skills to bring back the teleportation vehicle that they are using. And when she brings the device back, because the doors weren't totally shut, it brings a lot of the elements of the negative zone in with them, and they all get hit with it in different ways. Sue gets the power of invisibility and the power to create an invisible force field. She can make other things go invisible as well. Reed Richards gets the power to become a human rubber band. Michael B. Jordan's character, Johnny Storm, gets the power to become a human torch, basically a human blowtorch, pretty much. Finally, Ben Grimm, he becomes this big rock monster, and he goes through the entire movie naked. I'm not kidding! Naked! What the heck here? In every version of the comic books, Ben Grimm has always worn pants. The Thing has always worn pants. But this movie, for some stupid reason, because of his indestructible skin, according to the internet, he's not wearing any pants. They don't even explain that in the movie. What the heck? That is so stupid! And that's one of the many stupid things of this movie. Along with the tone of this movie. Dark and gritty? Really? Dark and gritty is a terrible tone for the Fantastic Four. You don't use the Nolan dark and gritty tone for the Fantastic Four. Fantastic Four is supposed to be fun. It's kind of like B-rated science. It should be fun. It should be like Guardians of the Galaxy, not dull and boring, and the acting is so sterile. There's no chemistry between this team. There's no camaraderie. You don't really feel this bond. The closest you get to a bond with any of these characters is the friendship between Ben and Reed. And even that is destroyed because through part of the movie, and this is a big spoiler, but who cares because this movie is awful, Reed goes away because now Reed leaves because he wants to find a way to reverse what happened to them, particularly what happened to Ben, because he looks all like a rock monster and he's all depressed about how he looks. So he leaves for a year, and during this year, the other three members of the Fantastic Four are being used by the military, and Reed becomes like a fugitive. Brilliant! Yeah, that's a great leader. You're supposed to be the leader of the Fantastic Four, Reed, and you're leaving them behind. What would have made more sense is if we would have had an epic fight scene against NASA or something to that retrospect instead of leaving them behind. That is so dumb. And let's talk about our villain, Dr. Doom. Man, is he done badly. He looks like a iRobot crash test dummy. Man, he looks terrible. This guy's supposed to be a dictator of his own country, Latveria, according to the comic. They do mention that he's from Latveria, but they don't mention that he's the dictator of it. Instead, he's just a scientist that worked on the same teleportation that Reed worked on, and he has feelings for Sue. And they do show that Reed and Sue do like each other, but the chemistry is not even developed. There's almost no character development for Sue except for the fact that she likes to listen to music from her iPad, just like Jessica Biel's character from Blade Trinity. That's stupid to do that. The most character development that Johnny Storm gets, Michael B. Jordan's character, is that he's a rebel and a bit of a hothead. Ooh, that's it? Really? That's all you give him? This is Michael B. Jordan. You could have given him so much more. To say that this movie is even worse than the Tim Story movies is a surprise because the cast is awesome. What a waste of this cast. This is the worst direction I've ever seen for a comic book movie. This is the worst script. Everything about this movie is terrible. I was having no investment in this movie. The climax is terrible. They ruined clobbering time. This is the catchphrase of the Thing. It's his catchphrase as much as Hulk smash is the Hulk's catchphrase. And what they do is they make its origin be Ben Grimm has an older brother who likes to bully him all the time. And when he bullies Ben, he says it's clobbering time. What a way to ruin an awesome catchphrase. Really? You could have done something entirely different. You could have made Ben Grimm be a football player, and every time he likes to tackle somebody, he says it's clobbering time. You could have made him a wrestler, and every time he likes to wrestle somebody, he says it's clobbering time. Oh, but no. Let's make his older brother be a bully, and whenever he bullies Ben, he says it's clobbering time. That's so much better. This movie is so bad. It is one of the worst movies of the year, and it's certainly one of the worst comic book movies I've ever seen. This movie gets a big F. Fox, give it up. Give the rights back to Marvel already. You have failed for maybe the fourth time. I don't know if they were part of the Roger Corman version, but they have failed time and time again. Just give the rights back to Marvel. Really? I mean, I hate to say it, but the people who wanted this movie to fail, they were right. I wanted to defend this movie. You know, I wanted to say, this is an awesome movie, but it's not. It is horrible, it is dull, boring, it is nothing that the Fantastic Four should be. Don't see this movie. In fact, go see Joel Edgerton's directorial debut, The Gift. That is a much better movie than this abomination.